Hi, tiny people living in my computer. Me. This isn't a microphone, and this is probably the last time I'll record anything in my childhood bedroom, which is weird. After this being my space for the better part of. I've been here pretty much my entire life, but it's been on and off for a lot of it. I've been here one simultaneous go for 10 years now. And it feels melancholic leaving it. I have a lot of memories of this room, some good, some bad, some the middle ground between. There's a lot. I feel like every little thing has some sort of memory tied to it. And I thought, because of what this room means to me, and what a lot of the stuff in here means to me, I'd sit down, just have a little one-on-one with you guys, and just talk about stuff. I might get up and start grabbing things and explaining what they mean to me, where they're from, sort of a little show and tell. I think I'll do that now, and I'll save the sappy garbage for later, because that's not good to throw that all out early. It'll be fine. Oh, you're so dusty. You're so dusty. The first thing that I was given that is currently in this room is this. It's just a simple little NASCAR gimmick. There's not too much special about it. It's just here. Nothing crazy. It has the old Mountain Dew logo, which is, I guess, important to me because I really like Mountain Dew. But, this is probably the oldest thing here for me. There's things in here that are older than this, but when it comes to me having ownership of it, this is probably the oldest. Also Dale Earnhardt Jr. signature. It's not actually signed by him, it's just his signature printed on, but it's pretty neat, I guess. Considering this is the thing that I've had the longest, I have the worst memory of where it came from due to how young I was, because I've had this since before I had this room. I was in the room on the other side of the house, and I shared the room with my cousin. So I've had this since I was 6, maybe? It's been over a decade. I keep almost falling because I'm squatted instead of sitting. But I've had this for a long time. It's not worth much, but it has stage life, or it just feels important because of how long it's been here. After picking it up, I'm taking it with me. I was gonna leave most of the stuff on the shelf there, but I'm taking this. This is going in the box. That was rough to do. That felt weird. A lot of this stuff feels weird. This little lantern gimmick, I found it in the attic here, probably 4 years ago. And it's so cool. I love this. It's so fucking sick. The glass on it is the patent on the glass is from December 4th of 1923. So the glass is 101 years old. However, the metal part doesn't have anything that says where it's from, and my family didn't know. City of Fort Worth Water Department. I should look into that. Little Wizard. Diets. NYUW? I don't know, but this is really sick, and I've had it for a couple years now. I've used it in, I used it in one of the improv videos I did. The longer one, where I'm in a bigger space. It ends with a bit that has to do with this. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's sick. I hope that me and Amidon get to use it for horror stuff in the future. It's genuinely really fucking cool. Sorry for disappearing for a moment. I'm trying to figure out what I want to mess with and if I want to mess with stuff. So my apologies for that. This little bugger was given to me by an ex-partner of mine for Valentine's Day, and it was the very first time somebody not related to me had given me a thing for Valentine's. To quote said ex of mine, "Look at its head, it looks just like you." Apparently I have a large head. Wasn't aware that I looked like this. Apparently. And though me and that person did not have the most perfect separation, it still holds like a special spot to me. Because I had been in relationships, but I had never been treated positively by someone, especially not in a way as to be gifted something by them, which I appreciate. And this big-headed little freak will forever be part of my journey of self-love, because me and that person do not talk, we're not friends, we're not going back and forth, and we sure as hell aren't getting back together. But they did set me on the right path of figuring out how to love me. So for that, thank you if for some reason you see this. Also, look at this fat-headed fuck. Cute little bastard. The main thing that helped me make friends when I came and started going to school here was Dragon Ball, specifically Dragon Ball Z. It introduced me to 3 of the people who would shape my personality for the rest of my life. It introduced me to my buddy Ethan. It introduced me to my best friend in the whole wide world, who is currently known as Amidon Beans. And it introduced me to a friend of mine who got me through a lot of classes, because we would just go back and forth about Dragon Ball stuff. And in senior year, he knew we wouldn't be super tight after school, because we weren't crazy good friends, if that makes sense. Nothing negative towards one another, nothing hateful, just we weren't super close. And he apparently found 6 of these old Dragon Ball cards, and because I talked about how much I hate Broly, he was like, "Hey dude, check this out." And I kind of, this is kind of a memento to the start of my social life, honestly, and to the immense amount of care and respect I have for you. So Michael, if some weird chance you happen to see this. Thank you, man. Deeply, like, genuinely thank you so fucking much for all of the memes and the jokes and the character voices and for this. Thank you. I'm taking that. I'm not leaving that, actually. God damn. Feels like I'm feeling things. Oh Lord, feels like I'm feeling things. Wee Bubba. Lord, I'm gonna need a sec. Emotion is a thing that's happening. Here's my Sonic menu. No, that isn't a joke. Yes, this is a real Sonic menu. Yes, I'm keeping it, and yes, me and Amden are using it as a decoration. I didn't realize it was backwards on this side. That's kind of sick. I didn't realize that. That's actually kind of cool. I like that. It's backwards on this side, which means you can read it, I think. That's pretty neat. I'll wrap this up. Some of this stuff may seem boring, and I apologize, but this is just me saying goodbye to a bunch of area. So if this isn't like your style of thing, or if it's not high energy enough for you or whatever, that's entirely cool and I understand. Speaking of memorabilia from a fast food place, here's the McDonald's stuff from when McDonald's had anime McDonald's. I worked there during this. That's how I got this. Well, I quit, and my partner at the time got me this while they were also working there. But I think it's fucking cool. I think it's dope. It's sort of like a one-off thing. Like, I feel like they're probably never doing the whole anime McDonald's thing ever again. But I like it. I'm a fan. This is going on our wall. This is super fucking dope. I love this. Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. Amidon gave me the idea to keep all of these because someday I might be famous, and then they'll be worth money. But these are the first paintings I've ever made. This one being the very first one. Ooh, Pepsi. I didn't mean to make Pepsi, but I made Pepsi. But yeah, Amidon pointed out that someday I might be famous or some shit, and then they'll be worth something. Maybe somebody will want them at some point. So they should hold on to them, even though I don't think they're very good. But they were the first things I ever painted, which kind of gives them some sort of... It gives them some sort of special thing. I don't like either of these ones. These ones I don't like. That's all you get of these ones because I don't like them. But I didn't think about it in a way of like, oh yeah, no, you're right. Those might be worth something at some point. Maybe someday somebody will think I'm cool and they'll want them or something. I don't know. One more of these. The big bastard. I don't understand what happened with this, really. But I know that something happened here. So all these are coming with me. And they mean something to me due to, them being the first things I ever painted. As somebody who can't paint but likes to pretend they can. Fuck. Some of that stuff is like hitting me. This, my father at one point was in a long-term relationship with a woman who I refer to as my mother because of how close me and her got. She had a son way before meeting my father, who became one of my favorite people I've met in my entire life. A incredibly smart, very compassionate and considerate person, somebody who I looked up to and wanted to be like. And at a certain point, he got married, and that was fucking beautiful. And then he had a daughter, and I became an uncle, or I guess aunt. I forget that I'm allowed to be honest with you guys. Aunt. Girl pop. But at, I believe her second birthday, it was based on the movie Moana. And everybody got a little lay, and we drank ocean water that I believe was just blue Hawaiian punch. But I've kept this because that really meant something to me. Because my relationship with all of my aunts and uncles is really bad. For reasons I have talked about in the past and probably will talk about in the future. I don't have any good relationships with any aunts and uncles of mine. And I felt like being a positive influence on my niece would mean a lot to me, and it did. And I have not got to see her nearly enough, but in the times I've been there, I have been there. And anytime I've been asked, I've tried to help out as much as I can, and it deeply hurts me that there's a chance that I don't get to see them again, be due to my father's stupidity. But I will never let go of this. I love you and me. This next one you can already see, and I don't have to pull it out. This mini fridge belonged to my uncle, who sadly, October 4th, 2020, passed away during his second battle with cancer. He was probably the only father figure I ever really had. And that loss, when it comes to immediate family, was and is definitely the most impactful loss I have felt. The closest thing to a father I ever had. Someone who showed me discipline without being abusive. Somebody who showed me love without being smothering. Somebody who showed me somebody who genuinely loved me for me. Who showed respect and care for his mother, for his father, for his siblings, for his nieces, for his nephews. And through all things he did, he was honest. He was loving. And in his last moments, he went the same way he lived, showing people love. And he didn't have much to give when he passed. But the few things he could, I was very, very, very willing to take. He taught me more in the year that he was home, because he was in prison for a little under 5 years before he came home due to the cancer. And then we had a year to be with him. And after that year, he passed, and that was the only time I could really remember of him. Because 4 years ago, I was 15, and then a year before that, I was a year and some change. So I was 13. 5 years before that, I was 8. And I don't have a lot of memories from being very young. So the only real memories I have are from when he was sick. And there wasn't much he had to give due to his body deteriorating. His eyes gave up, his leg gave up, his arm gave up, but he just kept going. And he didn't have much material to leave behind. But anything I was allowed to have, I took. Whether it be a headband he made out of one of his sleeves, the big fat bastard, or that dumb fridge back there with all the Razorback stickers. He was the closest thing to a dad I've ever had. And every single day I miss him. So that little mini fridge means a lot to me, even though it's just a random piece of hardware. This next one is going to be a mood ruiner, so I'm sorry. When I got my first job at McDonald's, I didn't throw money at nothing. I spent a majority of it on fixing my truck and then helping with bills and stuff. But the first thing I spent on me was this little guy. He showed up in videos a couple times, but I haven't really nailed down what I wanted to do with him. But I have him.
What are you guys doing over there? Huh? What are y'all doing in my screen on there? Y'all come in there, boy.
That's less emotionally impactful than that, but I mean, it was the first me purchase I ever made. So he means things. Also, he's a fucking sandwich, which is awesome. The first stylistic choice I ever made, because I didn't really pay attention to like looks or anything until I was out of high school. This was the first like style thing I ever worked on. It's a barbed wire necklace, which I still wear all the time. I prefer to wear it whenever I put on my I have a shirt that just has skulls and shit on it, because I like the aesthetic of just a black shirt with white skulls on it. That goes with that every single time. Never fails. There is 100 other things in here I could grab. But I think I'm just going to grab 2 or 3 more and then call it there, because if I don't, this video will be an hour long. So, give me a sec. A little bit after the pandemic started, I'd say really, no. Early 2021, maybe February, me and Amidon hung out for the first time in a little over a year, which was the longest time we had spent not hanging out. And at the end, randomly, he gave me a sword. There's no importance to the sword, there's no like emotional garbo, just a random sword that he gave me. And I have not let it get touched by anyone, I have not let it get scratched, not because it means anything to him, or it means anything to me, but because I would like to hold on to it. Because in 20 years, when it'd be like 17, but like looking back, I mean, like, I've had this for 20 years because you randomly gave it to me after we didn't see each other. Thought that'd be neat. And now we're moving in together and I'm taking it back to him, and that's wild. I'm too short. I'm too short. Okay, there we go. I'm too short, man. I can't reach all this stuff. I'm too short. I can't reach all this stuff. Hi. For those who don't know, I really, 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 really like pro wrestling. It's one of my biggest hyperfixations. And sometimes it takes way too much of my time. I love wrestling, and I have a lot of wrestlers who I really, 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 really love. But when it comes to wrestlers who I was emotionally invested in, I don't know if anyone comes close, other than Bryan Danielson, who is the greatest of all time, to the emotions that Wyndham Rotunda make me feel. This single... Oh, it's not showing very well. Uh-oh. Maybe if I turn the brightness up. That did not help. Well, tits. I don't know how else to show this. I'm sorry. Maybe if I come from the top. You guys get it. Wyndham Rotunda is one of the greatest storytellers in media ever. And I think his magnum opus was this, the Firefly Funhouse match with John Cena. A match that took place with no fans, a match that didn't work as a match, but was more a deconstruction of John Cena as a human being, much less a wrestler. Deconstructing his relationship, deconstructing everything about him backstage, politic-wise. Just deconstructing him as a person, much less the character, John Cena. And it meant everything to me. As did everything Wyndham worked on, as it was brilliant. And then last year, a little after WrestleMania 39, Wyndham passed away from health complications, and it rocked my world. And I had never purchased anything wrestling-wise in my life. I had one wrestling t-shirt that I got from a thrift shop that I didn't pay for. It was the CM Punk ribcage shirt with the little heart. And I had found really shit titles, like styrofoam belts. But I felt the need to commemorate a man who made me fall in love with pro wrestling. Because Bryan Danielson made me fall in love with wrestling. Wyndham Rotunda made me fall in love with characters, with entertainment, with that. I don't know if heaven exists. I don't know if hell exists. I don't know. Wyndham believed in heaven, and if you're up there, hi. I think you're really cool. I hope your family is safe. That's a guy. This random dog plushie, little Squishmallow, has helped me fall asleep for almost 2 years. In February, it'll be 2 years of me using this to go to sleep. It has helped with the overstimulation of multiple textures and just being able to focus on this. It has helped with just snuggling into it. And it kind of just smells like my sweat, which I think smells good because I'm a weirdo. Also, the tail. And for now, that's it. I think that's the last thing I'm going to record in this room. So I will see you guys next time. If you watched all the way to the end, what was your favorite item I talked about? Or favorite story or whatever. Whatever spoke to you or whatever's. Maybe you felt relatable with the story of my uncle with the fridge. Maybe you thought the dog was cute. Maybe you liked the little race car. I don't know. Maybe you thought the little Broly card was cool and retro. Tell me what you thought. And stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands. Remember not to kiss random strangers. You might get herpes. Thank you guys so much. Give me to 1,000 subs. I double dog dare you. You know, I need my I double dog dare you to get me to 1,000 YouTube subscribers.